What possessed John Lennon's biggest fan to commit this despicable act? It was a crisp winter evening in New York City, December 8, 1980. The streets outside the Dakota apartment building were quiet, blanketed in the kind of calm that feels almost sacred. Inside the Dakota lived John Lennon, a man whose voice had helped define a generation. He had once sung of peace and love, of a world united, and now, in his post-Beatles life, he was trying to live that message more quietly, more personally, alongside his wife, Yoko Ono, and their young son. But out on the sidewalk, a shadow waited. David Chapman, an American in his mid-20s, stood near the building's archway. In his hands, he clutched a well-worn copy of The Catcher in the Rye, his mind clouded with obsession and delusion. He had once adored Lennon, even idolized him, but envy, anger, and a warped sense of justice had twisted that admiration into something dark. Chapman saw Lennon as a phony, a man who preached peace while living in luxury. For months he had plotted this moment, driven by a distorted connection to Holden Caulfield, the novel's anti-hero who loathed hypocrisy. Earlier that day, Chapman had approached Lennon as a fan. He had held out a copy of Double Fantasy, Lennon's latest album. Lennon smiled, signed it, and walked away with Yoko to a recording session, never suspecting the man he'd just met was waiting for him to return. Hours passed. Around 10:50 p.m., Lennon and Yoko stepped out of a limousine and walked toward the Dakota's entrance. They had just come home to kiss their son goodnight before heading back out for a spontaneous date. As they crossed the archway, Chapman stepped forward, pulling a .38 special revolver from his coat. 5 shots rang out in the night. 4 of the bullets struck Lennon in the back. He staggered forward, climbed a few steps into the building, and collapsed. Yoko screamed for help. A doorman called the police. Officers arrived quickly, and realizing time was slipping through their fingers, rushed Lennon to Roosevelt Hospital in their squad car. But it was too late. At 11:15 p.m., John Lennon was pronounced dead. Back at the Dakota, Chapman remained on the sidewalk. He had not run. He had not resisted. He sat on the ground, reading The Catcher in the Rye, waiting quietly to be arrested. The news of Lennon's death spread like wildfire. A tidal wave of grief swept across the globe. Outside the hospital in the Dakota, fans gathered in silence, in tears. John Lennon was cremated at Ferncliff Cemetery. There was no funeral. Instead, Yoko Ono asked for 10 minutes of silence across the world, a moment to honor the man whose music had touched millions. David Chapman pled guilty to the murder. He was sentenced to 20 years to life and has remained behind bars ever since, denied parole again and again. And though Lennon's life ended that night, his voice never truly faded. In the hearts of his fans, in the melodies that still echo through time, he lives on, a dreamer, imagining a better world.